Brian Muraru is our sign language interpreter. Remember, we would love to hear from you. You can send us your comments on KBC Channel 1, on our social media pages, on Twitter, Facebook, and also Instagram, and also my social media pages. That is Cynthia Nyamai. Now, Kenya becomes the first country in Sub Sahara Africa to be a non-NATO ally of the United States, becoming the fourth in Africa after Egypt, Morocco and Tunisia. This is part of the agreements hammered by President William Ruto when he met his host Joe Biden during his visit to the White House in Washington, D.C. The meeting of the two countries pledges to deepen relations and cooperation, particularly in security, climate change and the scourge of debt distress affecting the continent of Africa.
The south lawn of the White House. The U.S. military information as they prepare to usher in President William Ruto, who is in a state visit to the U.S. The last such a spectacle involving Kenya was witnessed in 2003 when then President George Bush hosted the late President Mwai Kibaki. On arrival, President William Ruto and First Lady Rachel Ruto were welcomed by their hosts, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden. And after introductions of delegations, the two leaders took to the podium for a 21-gun salute in honor of the Kenyan leader. The three verses of the Kenyan national anthem reverberating across the White House, followed by the U.S. anthem. The two leaders then inspected a guard of honor, referred to in American terms as a review of troops. The two leaders in a joint press conference pledging to deepen cooperation between the two nations with a greater emphasis on security, climate change and debt distress. Kenya, which continues to support peace efforts in the Great Lakes region and the Horn of Africa, will become a major NATO ally, becoming the only sub-Saharan African nation and the fourth in Africa after Egypt, Morocco and Tunisia. The deals effectively mean that Kenya will enjoy certain benefits in the areas of defense, trade and security cooperation.
And we will be discussing a range of issues from peace and security in our region, recognizing the heavy lifting Kenya is doing in supporting peace and security efforts in the Horn of Africa, in the Great Lakes region. And I want to say, Mr. President, we value the support, the friendship, and the collaboration the United States has given Kenya.
Around the world, Kenya and America are also standing united against the terror of ISIS and al-Shabaab perpetrate in East Africa, that they continue to perpetrate in East Africa. The aggression that Russia is inflicting on Ukraine, the violence that has toppled too many democracies across both our regions.
The U.S. also agreed to support Africa's quest to reform the financial architecture of multilateral lenders, with most countries, including Kenya, said to be under debt distress.
Across the region, Kenya and America are driving a race to the top with investments that we have and high standards for workers, technology, and environment. And we're working to ensure debt doesn't leave these critical investments and crucial investments out of reach for low and middle income countries.
That by undertaking this state visit, we will have the opportunity to discuss and to have a conversation about building global partnership and leadership around the issues that pose challenges regionally, globally, and in countries like Kenya and many others. Challenges of climate change, challenges of insecurity, challenges around debt distress. And today we have an occasion to build synergies.
And as the two leaders retreated for talks, President William Ruto called on President Biden to spearhead the renewal of the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, which he says will guarantee the creation of jobs and wealth in Africa and which comes to an end in 2025.
Mr. President, we will also be having the opportunity to discuss the investment opportunities trade, and hopefully we will be able to persuade the United States to renew the Africa Growth and Opportunities Act that gives Africa the opportunity for access to markets.
John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.